welcome to the kitchen today. For today's Thursday soup, we're making cream of mushroom soup. I usually make extra because I like to freeze it for use in later recipes. Okay, to start off with, we've got carrots, which we will chop finely. Celery we will chop finely. Onions we will chop finely. And it takes quite a bit of garlic. I'll probably use about a dozen cloves of these small garlics. The original recipe called for 4 tablespoons. Of course, then we got butter. We got the mushrooms. I forget what they're called, baby portobello mushrooms. And I'll chop those up finely. And then we have white button mushrooms that I will chop up finely. And we have bay leaves, anywhere from 1 to 4, however whatever you like. I'm not a big fan of it. And today, instead of chicken stock, we're going to be using my turkey stock because that's what we have. And then we have lemon juice because I don't have any fresh lemons right now. And we're going to use arrowroot powder for the thickening agent. That will be towards the end. Heavy whipping cream, and we have salt and pepper to taste. Okay, and we will come back when we get ready to start cooking.
Okay, so we got the butter going. We're about to add our vegetables. This is celery.
1.5 cups.
Well, that'll all be on the recipe, right?
Yeah.
And then this will be carrots. And onions. I'm told that makes a maripaw, is it?
Yeah, I think that's what they call it.
I'm probably mispronouncing it, but I mispronounce a lot of things. So, anyhow, we're going to sweat these down until they're, how far do we go? Translucent?
Yeah.
And when we get to that point, we'll be back. Okay, this has been going about, I don't know, 10 minutes. You can see they're cooked down pretty good. Well, maybe you can see, maybe you can't. Now it's time to add the garlic here. You don't ever want to put the garlic in with the other vegetables because you'll overcook garlic and it's pretty quick to burn. So that's why we always add it at the end of our vegetables. Sorry about bumping the camera there. So we always end it at the end of our vegetables. And then we'll cook it about 2 minutes. And that'll keep it from getting burnt, but give us a nice garlic flavor. You see the butter we started with there has pretty much been absorbed into all the vegetables. Okay, and the next ingredient will be the actual mushrooms. So she's in the process of cutting and chopping them. I'm going to go and help her, and we'll be back when we're ready to put those in.
Okay, we're switching now. I'm making a double batch here, so it's I used 2 pounds of mushrooms, and I'll put them in there and start them. Like I said, I put this in the freezer and I use it in place of store-bought cream of mushrooms too. And I'll put half of this out to can to put up for my other things. And we just start warming. Basically what I'm doing is I'm warming up the mushrooms. I chopped them up fairly small. I like mine. I have a food chopper that I'm using. Kind of like one of them Vidalia choppers, or it's not that brand, but yeah. This here's the one I use.
You put your things in there.
This is the fine blade.
And do not touch them blades. I mean, just looking at them, you'll cut your finger.
Yeah.
And just close it up, and it cuts it.
Okay. Bring the broth over here and put that here. We'll have to add extra water. It's pretty thick broth. Okay, those are, you can tell by the smell when you think they're about, I don't know, once you've done it, I've been doing this recipe for 5 years. Come February, it'll be 5 years. Okay, the mushrooms are starting to soften up and change a little bit of color. I did wash them before I chopped them. Okay, and then like I said, today we're using turkey stock. We have lots of turkey stock. I'm gonna pour that in there and get it going. And, water? I think I want 2 waters. Yeah. It's not the first time I've used my homemade broth. It's the first time I've actually canned it in jars. I usually freeze it.
We need to explain that this is the recipe we will put underneath the video will be for how much? Because it only calls for half of that. It'd be half of what we're making.
Yeah.
So if you got a big pot, don't expect to see it to be full like ours. If you're following that recipe, it'll be half this much.
Okay, give me the lemon juice.
When you want it in, you can just pour it in there.
Just put in a couple of tablespoons or so.
Well, the recipe will tell you how much.
Of lemon juice. I think it just helps keep the mushrooms nice and pretty, not brown and yucky. I mean, if you can see that or not, but it's turning a nice color.
Ready to...
Okay, we need...
You want to thicken it before it comes to a boil?
No,
or?
that's thickening is last. I need the spices. For this much, 2.
2?
2, yeah.
1?
1.
2.
2.
The leaves of a bay tree.
Yeah. If you like bay leaves, you can add more. I'm not a real super big fan.
Put black pepper in and not salt yet.
Okay.
Because of the...
Get closer if you...
Spreading it everywhere. Well, I didn't want to get in the way of the video.
Well,
Enough.
I guess.
We'll do it to taste later
Yeah.
anyhow.
And we just bring this to a boil, then reduce it to a simmer, and simmer it for probably about 20 minutes. And I'll check. I'll be back at it then, and we'll check it and see. Oh, not bad, but I did. Okay, is it ready?
Yep.
Okay, we got it. Been cooking for about 20 minutes or so. So I'm going to stop that. I'm going to do a quick stir. I like mine kind of smooth, not super smooth, but I mean it is mushroom soup. Yeah, cream of mushroom. That's probably good enough. It's a little bit of chunky, but
You cream it to whatever consistency you want.
take out the cube.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well. Too late. Okay, so we're gonna push this aside. And
Push it to the back.
I'll push this to the back. Let me turn that off there, down there. Go to the back, and we're gonna put that in there. Now first we're gonna put this pot here. We're gonna...
Now this isn't something you normally would have to do. How would you normally do this? We do this because her and my daughter is the only ones that will eat it. I don't eat mushrooms in any form. And so she's going to be putting half of this into the freezer for other recipes. But so here she's separating it in half so you don't get confused. This you don't have to do if you're going to consume the whole thing.
I'm going to put in, this is heavy cream, so I'm going to put in 1 cup maybe. Might be too much, I don't know. I've not done it this way. This is the first time. Okay, put that over here. And then I'm going to mix in Arrowroot powder. I don't use cornstarch, and with my diet I don't use flour. So I'm gonna, oh, that's probably about 2 tablespoons either. Whisk.
I need a whisk.
Yes, please.
Big one or little one?
This will be fine. I'm gonna whisk that into the cream, which is, this is the thickener for the mushroom soup. So I'll open that up.
I go and drop it in there?
Yeah. Put that in there. We'll,
4 tablespoons of butter.
that's
It'll be
3.
in the recipe.
That's 3.
It'll be in the recipe.
So we'll start thickening this up a little bit. And the reason I'm not mixing it all together, because when I put this in the freezer, or if I can it in a jar, you don't can it with the cream. The National Food Preservation says it's not safe to can dairy products, so you don't do it.
But if,
Some people do, but they've been doing it all their lives. But I'm not going to, because I'm not. So I've got,
well, we don't have that experience.
right, yeah.
And like I said, we're not using it all for the lunch.
Right, we're just,
So actually, if you were going to can it, this is the stage at which you would stop then?
yes, this is where I would stop.
Well,
and
we're
start
going to
putting it
actually
in jars.
freeze it, and we will freeze it from this stage. And then when we use it, we will add the cream to the recipe that we're using this in.
Right.
How
Kind of
much?
like when if you bought a can of condensed cream mushroom soup, you add a can of soup, you add a can of milk. I'm using cream today.
Well, how much would they add to this? Would it be 1 for 1, or would it be maybe 50 for 1, being so it's
Well, they'd have to
thick
do,
cream?
they'd thicken it up like I'm doing here.
Right.
And then
So
add
prior
it,
to
really.
using it, you would thicken it, and
Yeah.
then you put it in your recipe.
Or
Okay.
when I use it in my, say if I'm making hamburger stroganoff, I use it just like this. And then I add sour cream to it,
To the recipe.
to the recipe, and it makes my,
Then it thickens it that way. So, yeah.
but you could use this just like you would any other cream of mushroom soup. Now, you know,
It's not cream.
well, mushroom soup. I don't know if you can see that. It's not white like that other stuff. I don't know what commercial canners do to it.
What's in there?
Yep. Okay, I'm going to start adding the mushroom soup to it. 2, 3, 4. That's about 2 cups. I might add a little more. About maybe 3 cups. And then you just heat that up. That aside, because I'm done with the whisk. And I think we will.
Is it done?
Yeah, yep. Take that out.
Yeah, we should have taken them out before we blended
Yes, I
it.
forgot. I got in a hurry.
I'm glad I don't eat it.
Ah.
Just teasing.
There ain't that much in there. All right,
Right.
we'll see you at the table. Okay, welcome to the table. Today we're having cream of mushroom soup. I'll put you closer. You want to serve it? You want me to?
Go for it.
How much do you want?
1 more scoop.
Yeah, you can get more, huh?
Yeah, thank you.
And as far as I can tell, this is pretty keto friendly.
That's what I was thinking. It seems like a keto friendly.
And
Oh, there's no meat in it. It's vegetarian.
Vegetarian?
No, we use turkey stock.
Oh, that's right. Well, we could use it now.
We could do vegetarian.
We could do a vegetable stock or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very earthy, mushroomy flavor.
Yeah, you definitely gotta like mushrooms.
Yeah, it is a good.
See, that's
It's
why.
like mushrooms.
That's why I'm having that. Yeah, I don't do mushrooms.
It's cream of mushroom soup.
Mm-hmm. It
Better
is.
than the canned stuff.
Definitely better than the canned stuff. I don't like the canned stuff, but this is really good.
Could use some salt and pepper maybe.
I was thinking I would add a little more salt.
Mm-hmm. Now you can use other spices in it. You can add thyme or Marjoram or Italian seasoning, just whatever you like. But I'll put that in the description below. Thanks for coming, and we'll see you next week.
Okay.